You mentioned one of the stops Jameis Winston had was with the Saints. His quarterback, Sean Payton, who quarterbacks the Broncos now. So, Payton, on what he saw from Jameis Winston when he coached him with the Saints.
You felt his arm strength, his size. He's someone that still can step up and go get a first down, on 3rd and 8 if your rush integrity isn't good. And then it was like, all right, here are the things we think he does well. He came in early on, obviously, as an understudy to Drew, and then I think the 21 season he started. Green Bay, I think he tore his ACL versus Tampa Bay. I don't recall. I think we were 5-2. He was playing well. But trying to tailor a game around, all right, again, what he did. And, he can make all the throws. There's a natural leadership about him. The players gravitate to him, and we got along well. I mean, as a coach, you're always interested in this goes back to Zach Wilson, someone else that was that highly regarded. We'd like to have a chance to coach, and so. His time came, and look, obviously the injury was unfortunate, but he had some real good moments in that beginning of that year.
And that's the thing that is interesting. How's he going to play against a guy in Sean Payton that knows him, and can you get him not to turn the ball over? If you do those two things, you have a middle tier starting quarterback with those two things.
Yeah, and I think one also thing you probably going to want to press on for tonight is, look, Denver gets after the quarterback. They got 44 sacks to this point. This team certainly can rush the passer. And, I don't know if I'm going to agree with Coach there that I trust Jameis in a 3rd and 8 situation to pick up the yardage. Maybe a little bit more, 2 to 3 yards, the run we saw on Thursday night, something of that nature. So for Jameis, it's, we'll see how this affects him. Trying to play at a quicker pace, a quicker style. Does it help? Does it hurt? Certainly things to monitor for this evening. But everything you heard Coach say is just basically what you've always kind of heard about Jameis Winston. And like those things, it's not something you learn. It's just kind of you either are or you aren't. And the other thing is you can't turn it off. When you are that type of guy, and if anybody saw, and if you didn't, I highly suggest, I think it was about 7 minutes long of Jameis being mic'd up before the Thursday night game, and somebody was just first snow game he ever played. I'm from Alabama, well, did you even see? I saw snow. I never played in snow. But you just see, and look, and when you're not going well, that's really a good way to kind of get everybody kind of going, it's tough. In the grand scheme of things, it probably wasn't the easiest thing to get amped up for that Thursday night game in the snow. Look, players like snow over rain. We all know that. It was Thursday night football. But, you know who you are. You know what your record is. But, when you got somebody like that around you, you're just going to kind of, it's going to affect you too. It's going to get you a little more excited. It's going to get you a little bit more fired up. But, there's definitely some keys tonight. Jameis is going to have to, be smart. He doesn't have Cedric Tillman, but granted, Denver's not going to have their other starter quarterback and Riley Moss as well. Who does that help? Who does that hinder? The way this game goes tonight. But, for the Browns, and again, it's just somebody that you can believe in, somebody that you want to cheer for. And, even though some of the things that come out of Jameis's mouth can be corny at times, or even to the point where you're like, what does that even mean? He keeps you there. He keeps you glued, and you're interested. And you go back, the Thursday night football, and the story was that, the guys on the pregame and postgame set before the game were like, we're kind of pulling for the Browns here, because Russ is just, Russ is like talking to your great uncle who's an accountant. They were hoping they were going to get the sound bites from Jameis. And then the next thing you know, there's a woman probably wearing $1,000 for the clothes hosting the postgame. And they're all doing snow angels. That just shows you the type of guy that he is. And certainly, makes, for a better version for this team overall as they play. But again, certainly something more likable and certainly something more interested in, willing for fans to come back and root for in what has been a really rough season.